What's up everybody, I'm quickly interrupting ahead of this video. Welcome to the channel of course, but quickly wanted to shout out the Signal group we have, which is a group in which I share all of my trades. For example, also this maker trade that we took over the course of this week. But we also, for example, bought Bitcoin at 101,000, which hopefully it's still trading higher at this point of time, but it went to 107,000. But I also released a new trading guide in which I fully explain one of the main strategies that I use to trade. So not only will you get profitable signals, you're also able to learn how to become a profitable trader yourself. So if you want to join, that sounds interesting, links will be down in the description. For now, enjoy the video. Bye. Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, hope you're having a great start of the weekend. And welcome to this new video on Sui. It was time that we made an update. The last time I think was 2 or 3 days ago when the price was still doing great right here at 3.5. Doing great is maybe a bit of an overstatement. I mean, what I said back then in my last video, to do a bit of an update on that, which I like to do, is that, you know, on the higher time frames, which is also what we're looking at right now, which we will look at in this video, because on the lower time frames, look, a lot of the price action is just very dependent on the fundamentals, right? And the fundamentals can be very volatile, and it's very uncertain what's going to happen regarding the fundamentals in this weekend and in the short term. So yeah, but on the higher time frames, what I said back then is already that we were in a consolidation, ultimately between 3.7, 3.8 to the upside, and then to the downside this level right here around 2.9 and 2.8. And that's the main level that we are testing right now. So the main thing that we need to speak about regarding Sui in this video, but I'll talk about everything you need to know, of course, but the main thing we need to discuss is whether we actually think, or I guess whether I think that we're going to be able to hold this main support level, right? Because there is a risk that if Sui is unable to hold 2.9 and 2.8 right here as support, look, on the higher time frames, that is a crucial support level to hold. And if we're not going to be able to hold that, then we could drop down all the way into that next support level, which is quite some percentage lower. That's at 2.6, 2.4, and from current prices, that would be a drop of about 15 to 20%. So we'll talk about that. A little bit of a spoiler alert, which, well, not spoiler alert, a little bit of a spoiler because I know some of you like that. At this point of time, it is dependent on the fundamentals, but I do not think that Sui will close below 2.8. Right, so do I think we can spike down lower? Certainly, but that's where those short-term fundamentals come in. Those short-term fundamentals can be incredibly volatile, right? So can we spike down lower? Certainly, but ultimately I do think for now that Sui is going to hold this consolidation right here. I think fundamentally Sui has, or fundamentally Sui has definitely done better in the past. And if you take a look at the DEX trading volumes right now, for example, it has stabilized and it has increased a little bit, but it's at the same levels kind of as the beginning of March, right? Which I wouldn't necessarily call bullish. I would faster call that neutral, especially with what happened over the course of the last month. And then TVL has increased a little bit here, right here. So that's fundamentally, I would say, a little bit more leaning to the positive, to the bullish side. But ultimately, I just think Sui has formed a beautiful structure right here. I think if you look at the higher time frames for the total 3, for example, which is an altcoin index, basically the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think that has some very strong support. So do I think short term we can spike down and we can move down lower? Yes. Do I think it's most likely, given the uncertain fundamental situation? I would also say yes. But if we're zooming in a little bit here, what I would say is that, you know, we might spike down lower than 2.9 and 2.8. But I do think we'll be able to reclaim 2.85 and 2.9, and that we'll be able to get some stability here and, you know, fill some imbalances to the upsides and get a move into 3.4, 3.45, 3.5 as well. Do I think we can get up to 3.7? No, that seems too far. Even when Bitcoin was trading towards 110,000, Sui couldn't get up there. Sui just barely broke above 3.5. So I would say the main stability area right now is between 3.5 and 2.8, but I do think that area will hold, and I don't think yet, although we see if we see a major escalation fundamentally, maybe my mind changes, but then I'll keep you updated on that, of course. For now, I think this is most likely, so hopefully that helps, hopefully it's valuable, but for now, enjoy your weekend, take care, and bye.